Hello, it's Ruby, and today I just wanted to do a chatty kind of video because I feel like I haven't just sat down and spoken to the camera for a while. I've done a lot of vlogs recently. I feel like this is going to be quite a long video as well. I've got myself some tea and I'm also going to light a candle because it's candle season, even though I feel like it's always kind of candle season for me. I like candles all year round. It doesn't really only happen in October and the winter cold months. But there's something about a candle in October, especially late October, which is just unrivaled. I just love October so much. I can't even tell you how happy I am that it's October, and I'm quite sad that it's already I think it's the 29th, which is really sad because it means October's nearly over. But then we've got November, and November is again one of my favourite months, but I have multiple favourite months. I think I love October and November so much because I'm in Christmas mode in October and November. For me it is very much Christmas season at this point, and I've been listening to Christmas music for a while, thinking about, you know, Christmas plans and the gifts I'm going to buy for people and the things I want to do over the Christmas holidays, and just really feeling very festive and genuinely happy. I always find that my mood is best in these few months, and I'm just so excited. But equally, it's far enough away that you've got a lot of anticipation still ahead of you, which I love, and just the colours of autumn are incredible. Like, I'm looking out of my window now, I'll show you. And look, you can see that there are leaves that have started to fall. Mum and I are going out for a walk actually at a National Trust property in a little bit, and that's literally just because we were driving past and all of the trees looked so lovely that we just realised we had to go and walk there. Okay, so I wanted to sit down and talk to you today about my thoughts on university being the best time of your life, and this assumption that university is supposed to be the best time of your life, which I think puts a lot of undue pressure on students, and I don't think it is necessarily true. I don't actually think it's a very useful construction of university that we've created, and I think it can be, especially for when you're first going to university, like with first year students, I think it can be kind of damaging, and it puts a lot of pressure on students to enjoy every single moment and chide themselves almost. Is that the word? Chide? Is chide a word? Have I just made that up? Maybe I'm literally making this up. Chide just doesn't sound right now that I've said it. Scold or rebuke. Okay, yeah. It is a word. For a second, I just had a brain blank there. It means that students chide themselves for them not having the best time, and if they are having anything less than an exceptional experience, it's like they've done university wrong. Like they're letting themselves down, letting other people down, they're not doing it right, they're not normal. People do say that university is the best time of your life. I think it's one of the most common lines that you'll get fed to you when you're first applying to university, when you tell people that you're at university at the moment. Adults constantly saying, you know, oh, university was the best time of my life. And like with anything, I think there is a tendency to look back at things with rose-tinted glasses. In general, I think it's problematic to say that one time of your life, like a broad time of your life, is the best. It's a whole period. Like, it's not like it's just one day. Like, there will be moments within your time at university which are incredible, which are wonderful, which you'll look back on fondly for years to come, which shape you so much as a person. But there are also moments which will break you, where you'll be feeling lost and distant and lonely and sad and stressed as well. You know, university at the time for a lot is quite a stressful time in terms of academic deadlines, like a lot of people having to look after themselves for the first time, moving away from home. To then just like group that all together under this is the best time of your life really does discount the fact that there are some very difficult experiences which come with being at university, and I don't think we should negate that. And I think that narrative of university being the best time of your life prevents students from then feeling like they can admit when they are struggling. It feels like they're failing somehow when they're not having the best time. And that's something that I have heard from a lot of people. One thing which is really, really striking, and if you're in first year, this is so, so, so important. When I speak with my friends now, like in final year, so many people say how much they struggled in first year, especially first term at university. And yet it felt like everyone else had their life completely together and everyone was enjoying every moment. No one was feeling homesick. It felt like I was the only one who was struggling and was like actually really missing home, when that's not true at all. Like, speaking with people, I mean, not every single person, but the majority of people say how hard they found first year at university, and yet no one talks about that. And I think for so many students that can cause a level of isolation, like it definitely did for me, because it feels like you're the only one feeling like that there's something wrong with you, like you're not normal, when actually realistically, like, of course that's normal. You've suddenly been taken out of like the place that you lived probably all of your life. You're in a new environment, you're having to look after yourself, you have got like a lot on your plate in terms of your personal life, and then you've also got all the academic pressures which are coming as well as that. And that is hard. Like, moving away from home and going to university is hard, and lots of students struggle with that. And if you're struggling with that now, if you're in first year, remember that there are other people struggling with that, even if they're not going to tell you they are. I really wish I'd known that, and maybe me saying this isn't actually going to convince you that that is the case, because I think people can be very good at acting like everything's okay. I was really struck, like this year I was speaking with an old friend from school, and when we'd met up in first year, like after the first term, she'd been telling me how much she was loving university, how it was the best thing that had ever happened to her, how she'd never felt more settled, she couldn't wait to get back after Christmas. And I remember leaving and feeling like, oh gosh, you know, I don't feel like that. I've done university badly, I'm not doing it right. And then I was speaking with her a couple months ago, and she was telling me how hard she found first year and how much she was struggling, how isolated she felt, how it was one of the worst years of her life. And I really I'd not been expecting that at all. I really came out of nowhere for me, but yeah, I just think if you're in first year, that's something important to know. So I'm just going to say that. Okay, so the next thing I just wanted to talk about in this video is how extroverted university culture is perceived to be. That isn't necessarily saying that university culture is extroverted. It's just the perceptions of university are like definitely through an extrovert lens. Like, you see the kind of university experience which a lot of more extroverted people perhaps gravitate towards, especially in television and movies. Perceptions of university are tied up with drinking, drugs, parties, late nights, sororities and fraternities. And when I went to university, that was kind of what I was expecting, this like neat little package of what university is supposed to be like. But that is definitely not everyone's university experience. Like, in fact, with most of the people I know, most of my friends, like, that's completely different. Lots of people don't enjoy drinking or partying, and I think it's something like 1/10 of students don't drink now. Like, it's not a big thing to not drink at university. I've never been peer pressured into drinking at university. Like, I don't drink and never faced peer pressure for that. And yet there's this idea that university is this, like, kind of, that's what university is. And I think there can sometimes be external pressure from adults as well, like, who went to university in the past and say, like, oh, that's what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to go out clubbing, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that, that's what university is supposed to be like. When actually everyone's experience of university is going to be different, and I think that's totally okay. I think that's actually a massively good thing, a really positive thing, because you've got so many people, like at Exeter's a quite small university, we've still got 27,000 students. 27,000 students are not all going to have the same likes and dislikes, and not every single one of those people is going to want to go out partying or want to study in bookshops. Those people are all going to be different, and I think, and I really don't like this idea of like lumping everyone together and saying like, oh, this is what university is supposed to be like. I'm really rambling so much, I don't even know what my point is here. I'm just like kind of thinking out loud. But even when you're at university, I think it can still feel like it is part of that media bubble of what university is supposed to be like. When you've got friends posting on social media a lot about like going out partying, for example, when people in your classes are talking about it, it can feel like that is what everyone else is doing, and I promise you that is not what everyone else is doing. And even if they are doing, not everyone's going to be enjoying doing that as well, which is worth bearing in mind. Again, it doesn't matter if that's not the thing that you like doing. Like, it's okay to not like that. just because everyone else finds something interesting doesn't mean that you're going to find it interesting. As I say, like, I think everything would be pretty boring if everyone had all of the same interests, likes and dislikes. If you enjoy something, do it, and if you don't enjoy it, don't do it. Like, I think it's about being aware of our own likes and being aware of the things that we actually enjoy doing, and not pressurizing ourselves and feeling like we're abnormal or we're weird or there's something wrong with us if we don't want to go and do that thing. Even if you're the only one in 27,000 students who doesn't like doing something, which you're not, but even if you were, that wouldn't matter. It doesn't do you or anyone else any good to go along to an occasion which you're not going to enjoy. I have always been very keen to stay true to myself, just as an aftermath of, I've spoken about this before, but I was ages and ages ago, back when I was at school, I was bullied, and it really did just change my perspective entirely on like the importance of being true to yourself and of not being ashamed of the things that make you different, and that's something that I like constantly try to remind myself of, because it was like a really important tangible lesson that I got from those experiences at school. Yet still, like when I was in second year at university especially, I suddenly felt like, oh gosh, I'm not doing anything right. I really need to start doing all of these things that university students are supposed to do, because otherwise when I talk to people about what I'm doing at university, everyone's going to think, oh no, you're doing it wrong, and everyone's going to judge me, and everyone's going to think I'm strange, and nobody's going to like me, which is, they're very unhelpful spiraling thoughts, and they're not logical at all, and they don't make any sense. As a result, I started going out socialising a lot more, kind of shifted my priorities around so that I was not living the stereotypical university experience, but living something closer to that than I would personally have enjoyed to be doing. And I really, really regret that, because I felt so distant from everything. I felt more isolated than I had in first year, because when I was at these social occasions, I wasn't enjoying myself. I didn't feel like myself. I had to take a step back. I was like, I'm feeling so unhappy. And so now when I'm booking something, when I'm organising something, when I'm doing something, one thing I try to ask myself is why? One word, why? What's my motivation for doing this? Am I just doing this because I want to appear a certain way? Am I just doing this because it's what I think I should be doing? Or am I going to do this because I actually want to? And just asking yourself that simple question can really help you to get back in touch with your priorities. Now I don't go out and socialise as much, and I know that people might think or say that I don't go out to socialise as much, and I have been told on YouTube, for example, that I should socialise more, but I choose not to. Made the decision to go out and socialise a lot more in second year, and I hugely regretted it, and it wasn't the right thing for me. I am introverted, and we live in an extroverted society, unfortunately, which privileges and sees socialising as the best form of self-care, recharging, when actually for a lot of people that can be very draining, and that's okay. Like, if you find that draining, it's okay to sit in your university room and read or watch a film or like do some painting or something. It's okay to do that instead of going out to a party. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. The most important thing is that you're actually like enjoying the time that you're spending. I don't really know what the point of this video is, apart from just to like stress that it's okay not to be like loving every moment of university, and even if everyone's saying that they too are loving it, they might not be. That university is hard, and that we all like university for different reasons, and that you shouldn't put pressure on yourself to do university a certain way, because that certain way is very much, I think, mediated by an extroverted culture. My point is that comparisons aren't helpful, as they never are. I was asked on Instagram if there were any like specific questions, so I think I might quickly see if there is anything. How do you do parties as an introvert? I don't do parties. I made the executive decision to not go to any parties. I actually made this decision way back at A-level. At first my friends would be like inviting me to things, like to house parties, but I just always said no. I was like, no, I know I don't like them, so I'm not gonna go. I went to one. I know I didn't like it. It's not my thing, and so if you don't want to go to a party, don't go. Really, it's as simple as that, I think. How do you know when it was okay to give in to recharging and when to push yourself more socially? This is a really, really good question. So I would say at the beginning of university, it's good to push yourself socially, because you do want to find a few friends, and it's important to make sure that you do find a few friends, I think, just to have a support network at university. It is going to make your experience much nicer. Like, since I've been friends with Blakeney and we've been living together and things, university has been a lot more fun for me. So I think a big point here is, what does it mean to push yourself? So yes, you definitely would be pushing yourself if you were to go to a party as an introvert, if you don't like parties. But why would you push yourself to do that? Maybe you go to one, but if you don't like that, and you know you don't like it, then what's the point in pushing yourself socially to do that again? You'd only be doing that because you feel like you should be doing that, because you should enjoy it, which I don't think is a valid reason to do something. Because you should do something. You should do it because you enjoy doing it. On the flip side though, you can push yourself socially through doing activities and social activities which you actually enjoy. So like by joining a new society for a hobby that you have. It's still like a little bit within your comfort zone. Obviously it's important to go out of your comfort zone. There's a difference between going out of your comfort zone and going so far out of your comfort zone that you can't even see the borders of it. And so if you don't like clubbing and you don't like those things, I think you're just doing it. I think you end up just doing it performatively because you feel like you should be pushing yourself to do that, when actually you can get the benefits of socialising from doing other things. If that makes sense. I mean, obviously, I think people are going to disagree with me on this, and it's a matter of opinion, but that's just my approach to it. I don't really see the point in pushing yourself super, super, super uncomfortably out of your comfort zone. Step to the edges, go a bit beyond that, but don't push yourself to do on repeat something which you really, really don't like, which is out of your comfort zone, just because you think you should and because it might help you to get to that position eventually, if that makes sense. How do you make friends when you're anxious to talk to others? Talk to people in your seminar group and make it very, very casual. So asking things like, if the person you're sitting next to in a seminar or the person at a society, like asking them a question, something really basic like, oh, do you know when the summative is due? It shouldn't promote too much anxiety in doing it, but it's enough for you to start to kind of like have conversations with people and start to potentially make some friendships. So just asking quite banal questions I think can be quite good, and just putting yourself in situations with people who are likely to be like-minded. Did you ever feel shame about going home so much? I did. Yes, okay, so in second year, I felt so much guilt about going home. I would go home still. I felt like everyone was judging my decision to go home, and everyone was thinking, oh, you're really weak because you're going home, you're like, you're failing because you're going home. I realised that was kind of more of an internal judgment which I was projecting out onto others, and maybe people weren't thinking that. And even if they were, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, you know yourself best, and if you're going to be happiest going home every weekend, why not do that? Is it hurting anybody? Is it actually a problem? No, I don't think it is. Maximising your own happiness, and if it's not interfering with anything else, kind of it lies in line with Mill's utilitarian free liberty premise, which I'm a staunch believer of. Like people have liberty and they can use that liberty however they want, as long as it's not affecting others. You've got free will, and if you know that that's best for you, then I think that's okay. Like if you know you need to go home for your mental health or just for generally happiness, then I think it's okay too, and I've realised that, but I didn't know that when I was in second year. I never go out with friends to party. Should I change that for uni? Absolutely not. Don't feel like you need to do that. You'll probably have a better university experience finding like social activities which aren't that. How do you cope with living away and not wanting to go back home every day? I still want to go home every day, not going to lie, I'm going to be very honest about that, because I want to normalise homesickness, and I don't want to feed into this wider culture of like everyone pretending like they're not homesick and everyone acting like it's bad to be homesick. Like it's okay to be homesick. I think it's normal to be homesick. There's nothing wrong with being homesick. You shouldn't feel guilty for that, and I'm not going to add to that stigma, so I'm going to be very open. I do want to go home every day when I'm at university, but you can still cope with it. So for me, that's making sure that I'm spending time with friends, like with Blakeney for example, and a support network at university, calling your parents or like just texting them, or kind of just knowing that they're there, knowing that home is there can be quite nice. And also going home, like if you can go home, then go home on occasion, go home every few weeks. There's nothing wrong with that, just going home for the weekend. And like just kind of keeping yourself busy and like romanticising university life and thinking about what you've got at university which you wouldn't have at home, why you're really grateful to be at university. So for me, I always really big up the academic side. I like the studying. I like the fact that I'm able to connect with professors and be learning all this incredible new stuff, and just being like kind of guided in my learning in a way that I could never guide myself. Like those prompts from tutors, for example, for further research, I find so incredibly useful, and I know that I've grown so much in my capacity to think and my just my approach to education, my approach to life, because of going to university and because of that education that I've been so grateful and privileged to receive. But that's the bit that I like, not necessarily the living away from home part. I can only receive that education if I'm at university. That really helps me to keep on going, because that is like one of the most important things for me. Then the other thing, of course, again, is Blakeney and the fact that I have her there, so I kind of romanticize that and the fact that I'm living with my best friend. I'm trying to stop myself from going home, as I feel if I do, I won't want to come back. I find for me that if I don't go home, I find myself struggling more with my mental health. So for me, it revitalises me to go home for a weekend. When I come back, I feel better about university. I'm more excited for it because I've been home. Whereas that might not be the same for everyone. I will say, you know, when I'm leaving to go back, like after I'm on reading week at the moment, and when I go back on Sunday, I will be thinking, I don't want to go back. But when I get back to university, I feel better than I did before I left. So there are lots of questions about introversion at university, and I think I might actually do a video on like a guide to being an introvert at university, if that's something you'd like to see. Okay, so I'm going to end this video here because it's very, very long. I don't know if this was helpful at all. I don't know, I just felt like doing a chatty video, and this is something which I think is quite important. I don't know, it's just like this whole stigma about like not enjoying university. It's okay, and if you're struggling at university at the moment, like, it is okay. You're already feeling bad, you're already struggling, so why make yourself struggle more? Why make yourself feel more unhappy and more guilty? When you're already feeling bad, it's an additional and unnecessary source of guilt, which you don't need. And so, easier said than done, but please try not to be so hard on yourself. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and enjoyed it? Is that the word? I don't know. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you have a productive week.